Recording live from the master bedroom in my 4,500 square foot house with a heated pool and a heated hot tub. $1 million house that I just bought 3 weeks ago at 20 years old. Listen, so today my video topic is going to be why ghetto people stay poor and why they don't make it far in life. I know this is a sensitive topic, especially coming from a black person, but I think it's best delivered by a black person because it's time for us to address the truth and the elephant in the room of why white people as a majority are more successful than black people. I'll begin with the point of language. I think black people are so ignorant with their language, and it's okay to have a culture. I have a culture myself. I am not black American. I am actually from the Caribbean, which is in the US Virgin Islands, an island called St. Croix. On St. Croix, everybody speaks in a strong dialect called broken English. I'm not going to give an example of this. It's rather similar to Jamaican, more or less, but it's hard to understand if you're white or if you're American. And it is what the culture is, how the culture communicates to one another. Now, when I was very young, for some reason, I had a strong feeling that I needed to break this habit of broken English in order to have the most success that is necessary in life. Otherwise, I'm going to have trouble succeeding whenever I want to go places. And this is exactly what ended up happening. So many people from down in the islands, they keep this dialect of broken English, and at some point you come up to the States and you decide that you actually want to do things with your life and you want to pursue a college degree, or you want to pursue a business, pursue sales, pursue a position in a company. And when you come here with that broken English, it's almost equivalent to speaking in a ghetto manner. White people and people in professional business settings do not comprehend it well. So it creates a gap. Now, again, my whole point, or the point that I just made, is that there is no problem with having a culture. There's no problem with having a culture. If you're a black person and you're from the hood, if you're a Hispanic and you're from the hood, and there's hoods in every single state and city, it doesn't matter where you are, Florida, California, Detroit, upstate, downstate, anywhere that you are, there is a hood. There's poor people everywhere, and there is what is considered a hood in every single state and city. So if you are from quote unquote the hood, this does not mean that you need to be ashamed of where you are from. You need to develop something that I call a switch. And we all need to have a switch. It's the difference between how we act and communicate with our friends and family and how you act and communicate in a professional business setting. Now, the thing that I can't stand most about black people is majority of black people don't have the switch from going friends and family to a professional business setting, and it hurts you in life more than you can possibly imagine. You will go to a job interview and speak the same way to somebody who's interviewing you to potentially give you money as you do to your friends and family, or your friends when you hop on the video games, on 2K, on Fortnite, on whatever other video games you guys play. You speak to them the exact same. I'm gonna say, yo, what's up? Yo, what the job is? Yeah, I could do that. How much y'all pay? Like, you really think a motherfucker is trying to hire you when you speak like that? I myself, I stay away from hiring black people who speak like that. People who speak like that in general. I don't like ignorance in any given one of my companies. It does not matter what the position is. I do not like dealing with ignorance, because those type of people typically are the most ignorant people on earth. They do not have any respect for your time. They don't have respect for your company. They don't have respect for rules, and they tend to be the most troublesome employees. So even myself, I'm rather racist inside of my companies when I'm hiring, because I don't want to deal with that bullshit. I'm not saying that I don't hire black people. I'm saying I don't hire black people who speak and act like that. I do not like ghetto people inside of my life. I don't like ghetto people inside of my companies. Another manner is ghetto people do not know how to leave their hood habits behind in regards to looks. You want to bring your hood habits of wearing your skinny jeans that are down to your ankles and these tight childish shirts, or your NBA YoungBoy shirts and all that shit. You try to bring that shit to the workplace, or you try to bring that to a business manner, and it never ever makes the cut. Now, I'm gonna say something on the flip end. I'm not gonna say white people are lucky, but it's very different for a white person, because white people are universally accepted almost anywhere they go besides strictly the hood. They're universally accepted in the way that they speak, and their dialogue is worldwide accepted, obviously, unless you're not speaking English, right? So Inverse to somebody going to the hood and trying to come to a business setting, their dialogue, the way they act, the way that they are trained to, I guess, perform and exist, it does not make the cut. But white people can go to many, many different places, and their nice way of speaking in that certain dialect, more or less the same way that they speak to friends and family, they can speak in public and it is publicly accepted. Unlucky for people who have culture, people who have color, people who come from the hood, people who come from an island, people who are Jamaican, anything other of the case, we have to put on a mask when we go in public settings or when we are in business professional settings and when we are looking to get places in life. So if you're somebody who is strictly from the hood and your environment is that of somebody from the hood, meaning that all you hear all day is hood rat shit, and you hear a whole bunch of, I don't know, just poor ways of thinking and poor people talking about this and beefing over that, and I'm gonna kill this nigga about this, I'm gonna kill this nigga about that, is that if that's all you hear and it's all that you know how to speak and all the music you've ever heard is NBA Youngboy and trap music, I'll tell you how you escape speaking and acting this way and start to open your mind to a different way of existing. Now, you're never actually able to delete how you were raised. Unfortunately, you cannot delete it. You cannot just say, yep, I've been born in the hood. I'm now 15 years old. All I know how to speak that. I'm going to learn something else. I'm going to completely forget the hood shit. You won't forget it. But you can obtain new skills in properly speaking and learning how to speak clearly, to speak professionally, to articulate your words, how to give a speech, how to speak in ways of conviction that people look at you and they want to listen to you the moment that you open your mouth and they say, maybe this person is someone of importance, or maybe I should listen to what they have to say. The easiest way to study and be able to gain this habit is to start studying people who give speeches. Listen to people who talk. Listen to people who talk on podiums. Listen to people who talk on podcasts. Listen to people who other people listen to, and you will be able to gain the skill of speaking. Speaking is a skill. It is not something that we are just inherently born with and everybody is able to speak the same. Speaking is a skill. Some people genuinely have the gift of being able to speak and deliver a message like no other. I'm not saying that you have to get to that level, but you do want to get to the level where you can go on a job interview and you can articulate your words and they don't have to ask you, what'd you say? What was that? And they're not getting a bad vibe because you're speaking all ghetto. Yo, what's up? Yeah, shit, I do the job. How much y'all pay though? Like, nobody wants to fucking hear that shit. Nobody wants to hire that shit. Nobody wants to be around that shit in regards of money, including myself. So if you're trapped in it, I'm not saying it's your fault. But if you stay in it after hearing this message, it is your fault. You have the opportunity to completely change the way that the world views you. The world views you on the way that you talk, the way that you speak, the way that you present yourself, how you act, the actions that you take, how well you honor your word. These are all different pointers on how the world views you. They don't strictly view you based on the color of your skin. The color of your skin can briefly hold you back, but if you have everything else supporting you, meaning that you're able to speak in a proper manner, meaning that you dress properly, meaning that you answer questions intelligently, and it's clear that you have some sense of education, then your color is now blinded out. But if you follow the stereotype, and in addition to being black, Hispanic, of some other race that is degrading your power already, and on top of that, you are also ghetto and you cannot speak and you do not know how to act and you do not know how to be professional, boy, are you in for a fucking treat. The world is going to throw you around for all the days of your life. You will never get respect. You will continue to work minimum wage jobs, and more than likely you will get nowhere. You won't get anywhere beyond what your aunt, uncles, moms, and dads have gotten, which is probably also nowhere. You have to escape the ghetto trap. It is a trap. That's why they call the hood the trap. You can stay there forever and repeat what your family members have done over and over and over and over again. And you might think that shit is cool, and you might be able to impress a couple of girls in the hood acting like a gangster and toting guns and do this, that, and the other. But in reality, nobody else in the real world gives a fuck. It doesn't get you a job. It doesn't get you any money. All it gets you is dead or in jail. I always resort all of my messages to the point that you wake up every day with a choice. And you have the choice to continue to do whatever the fuck that you've been doing that has you wherever you are. I'll ask you honestly, how do you feel about where you are? More than likely, the answer to that is not very satisfied. So if you're not very satisfied with where you are, I don't know why logically you would continue to do exactly what you've been doing. Are you aware that that's a definition of insanity? Is to see that something does not work, perform the same action that has not worked over and over and over again, and continue to do it is the literal definition of insanity. So I beg you not to be that type of insane. Be more insane about your craft and insane about elevating your life and insane about getting places in life and being able to speak better and being able to look better and being able to present yourself better and getting higher paying jobs, or if you're in the business field, scaling your company and learning more about business and getting further in business and growing your team and getting employees and building a corporation and hopefully building an empire. That's where you want to be insane. You don't want to be the type of insane that's embarrassing. Do not let yourself fall into stereotypes, because at the end of the day, it is a choice. You're waking up every day with the choice to continue to be whatever you've been being. I hope you don't continue to be that guy.